If you're like most people, you work hard for a living. It's been your desire to make a better life for yourself and your family. And along the way, you've accumulated some assets. You probably have money in retirement accounts and other investments. You probably own a house. Maybe you are a successful small business person. And I am sure you would like to see those assets go to your family members in the event something suddenly happens to you. That's the plan, right? But sometimes things happen that mess up your plan. And the most common thing to happen is a long-term debilitating illness or even a sudden death. So how do you plan for that? Hi, my name is Al Rightler. I am a licensed estate planning professional. And over the years, I've seen many situations that deteriorate for the worse. And those things that you intended to happen never materialize. Instead, family members start fighting with each other. There's hurt feelings, there's bitterness, even family division that can last for years. And those assets, they end up being liquidated and proceeds go to attorneys, courts, and Uncle Sam. In a few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do step by step to ensure that those things that you've worked so hard for go to those you care about most. But first, let me tell you about Tom. I met Tom a couple years ago when he came to me and said, Al, I have an aging mother. She's a widow of a veteran. She has some assets in a retirement account. She has a house, but she doesn't have an estate plan in place. So I said to Tom, well, Tom, call the office. We'll make an appointment and sit down and talk with her. Or if she would like, I can go to her home and we can talk in the privacy of her own home about these things. Well, 2 years went by. Tom never made the appointment. Every now and then I talked to him and he always had an excuse as to why he didn't get this done. Well, not long ago, Tom rather excitedly came to me and said, Al, I finally had my mom sign a durable power of attorney for medical care. And now she appointed me as her advocate and I can make those decisions for her as she becomes incapacitated. And I said, Tom, that's great. What attorney did you go to and how did this come about? Tom looked at me and said, Al, I didn't go to an attorney. I just didn't want to pay attorney fees. So I asked a social worker to bring a generic form to the house, and my mother and I signed it. Well, needless to say, I was a bit upset with Tom. And I looked at him and said, Tom, I can't believe after the conversations that we have had that you did this. You haven't served your mom well. Do you understand a generic form is not going to address her particular needs and situations? You didn't have any discussion about a will. No analysis was done if she needed a trust. How about the veterans benefits? Do you know whether or not she even qualifies? Do you understand that by not dealing with the house, you're going to end up in probate court dealing with that? And then the retirement assets. Do you understand that you and your sister could stand to lose thousands of dollars in the future just by not positioning it differently? Tom, you haven't served your mom well. In fact, you haven't served yourself well. Well, not long after that conversation, I learned that Tom's mother passed away. And it was rather sudden. Now Tom, who is in his 40s, and his much younger sister are going to have to handle the affairs of her estate with no roadmap, no legal documents, and I know that he's going to end up more than likely spending more money on attorneys and court costs and other expenses than would have been spent if he just picked up the phone and called. What about you? You've worked your whole life. You've always made your own decisions about your medical care, about your investments and property and who you give it to. And so I'd like to ask you, why would you leave to others all of these decisions about your personal affairs, your medical affairs, in a moment of crisis when you haven't left them a roadmap, you haven't left them legal documents, and now they're going to have to make these decisions on your behalf and have all the stress that goes along with it. Failure to plan, more often than not, leads to a lot of distress and havoc within families. I have put together a free estate planning kit that I'd like you to have. It'll lay out for you step by step what you need to do to protect your assets and make sure they go to the people you love. And by following these steps, you'll have a roadmap in place that'll give you and your family the peace of mind you deserve. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call me. The number is on this page. Just call me. You'll hear a pre-recorded message. You can then leave your contact information and I'll get this free kit out to you as soon as possible. Don't put this off any longer. Make that call.